So as a young child, I had a peppered background of divorce and different things, and we all have things in our background. So I feel like the gestures speak to everyone's background and what they went through and processing that past. You know, when you hit midlife, that's kind of, I think, where you start to really think about those things. But because of that, I felt like the way that I could find control was to create. So even at age 7, I was drawing and coloring books, whatever I could get my hands on, pencils, colored pencils, watercolor, anything. And that moved into photography, which was really my first step. And I didn't even realize it, but I was studying composition before I knew what the word composition was by arranging my Barbies in different positions on rocks and within the plants and taking photographs of them in a situation or some sort of composition. And God love my father, he had to develop all this film for Barbie pictures. But that was a great beginning, a jumping off point for me to see the world differently. So I could see it through a viewfinder all the time. That was sort of my experience as a child. Everything was a viewfinder. And when I got behind a lens, the world was cropped in ways that created these beautiful abstract compositions, sort of like Diebenkorn saw the world as an abstract lens all the time. That's how it began for me. Then I went to college. I was classically trained. And after all that classical training, it was the abstraction later, well after graduating, that became interesting to me. And I remember going right back to my roots of learning the composition. And that's when it became very interesting to me to try to recreate an abstract lens with the way I saw things. Some of the greatest influences in my life, I have to say, in my artistic life, would first be my discovery of Jim Dine. I was combining technical drawing with mark making, and that was I was doing that before I knew about him, and then when I found him, I felt validated. So I continued to do a lot more of that. Then my technical drawing advanced into more of an abstract plane, where then I dropped pencils and I dropped everything and went into paint. And then that became more of a mix. That's why I consider myself a mixed media artist, because I was mixing charcoal, pencil, graphite with paint. And I found these wonderful, beautiful, sensual marks when you mix those things. So you get splurring, you get lines made out of different colors altogether. And that was interesting to me. Then I discovered Cy Twombly, and he's the master at combining those materials together like that and creating an abstract plane full of language made with marks and color and things that are recognizable and things that are not. So I flourished through studying him, and then I discovered Joan Mitchell, and she became my gestural master. She became the love language in my work. And I feel like the gestures are the love language in my work. They are the things that are speaking to you, and hopefully they become a rhythm to the point where sometimes you can hear music when you look at them. If you really study them, I'm playing music in my studio. I'm thinking about music. I'm thinking about certain parts of my life, whether it be past or present, and that rhythm comes out in the gesture and the paint. The gestures in the past were more about expressing emotion that was coming out of me, almost like taking a memory and then expressing it as a line. They became language for me, but they also became like prolifically healing because the energy literally left my body and goes onto the canvas in the form of gesture. So the energy, there's an energy transfer between me and the canvas with that. So I was taking a lot of memory from the past and expressing it, transforming it into a gestural language, and then healing from it. So it was this whole process. It was putting together my past, packaging it up, and trying to heal it. And now the work going forward is going to be about listening to the gestures as opposed to screaming at the canvas. And the gestures before, I feel like they had the energy of screaming, and the gestures now are more soft. They have softer edges even, and they're more about listening in the present moment instead of recalling the past and dragging that through the work. So it's more of a lesson in being present and participating more as opposed to reacting. And I'm interested in what that's going to look like. So I'm searching for more solitude, quietness, so I can really determine what the gestures are saying to me now. As not necessarily a healed person, but a more present person that's accepted where I am now and moving forward in a listening mode. So victim versus present moment. And not even victim, that's a strong word, like more like processing past, and as opposed to being present in the now. My grandmother was a great hero because she had the tenacity of a Viking. Even though she was a Scottish woman, she taught me a lot about fortitude and being strong and resilient, and also mindful. She taught me a lot about being present and appreciating the small things. She used to send me things in the mail like colored leaves from the fall, which I never got in Florida. So to me, that was such a special thing. She sewed all of her clothes. So she was a master seamstress. She had to be very present doing that. And she did all of that while juggling an entire beef farm and children and all of her household duties. Plus, she was a teacher of history. So talking to her was influential because she would remind me of how it always repeats itself and the lessons and the wisdom from history. So all of that combined made her an object of sheer leadership in my life. She really taught me how to be tough, and she's good stock. She was not somebody who was lazy. So I feel like I get a lot of my biorhythms are from her. A lot of my energy was like her. I keep my finished ones here on the bottom. Oh, here we go. And these are all paper projects that I'm either going to continue to work on, or at the time I felt they were finished, but maybe they're not. And then I can rip them up and use them in other things. I can make smaller projects out of them by cutting them into different sizes. So I never throw anything away because you just don't know what you're gonna have. These are all in process. Some beautiful works on paper. This is part of my new series, I think. It's like a softer side of Robin. These kinds of things. So they're all in here. I even have, like I was saying before, part of my process is sometimes putting the material on first, then painting it. So a painting might start like this with just paper on it, then I paint over it, then I add more paper, more mixed media material. So that's the beginning of something. These, I love these. They're not quite done, but this is my Cy Twombly world. I love doing things on color paper or colored canvas. And getting in touch with my 80s child with the fluorescent stuff. Yeah, so these stay in here and they come out every now and then. I work on them and I put them back. And sometimes I feel like they're done and sometimes they're never done.